This grilling season, don't just fire up the barbecue. Elevate it with meats from around the globe, delivered straight to your door by the Butcher Shop Direct. They're not your average butcher. Butcher Shop Direct sources premium cuts from over 5 continents: Argentina, Japan, New Zealand, Spain, the US, and right here in Canada. Whether it's a tomahawk steak from Australia or melt in your mouth Wagyu from Japan, they bring the world's best to your backyard. And here's the game changer. Every order is cut fresh on the day of delivery. No sitting in a freezer, no guesswork, just top quality meat, expertly prepared and grilled ready. Planning a cookout? Check out their handcrafted burger patties and small batch sausages, perfect for taking your barbecue from good to unforgettable. And right now, you can save 15% off of your first order. Just visit butchershopdirect.com and use promo code EatingWild15 at checkout. Plus, get free delivery on all orders over $250. That's EatingWild15 to save, and free delivery when you stock up. Butcher Shop Direct. Premium, fresh, delivered.
I've been fishing Great Lakes in March for 30 years. We walked out, we tested the ice, we checked the thickness, it's the same. It's cold. Not even 5-10 minutes into the walk, we're looking ahead and everyone starts scrambling. I knew instantly, right then and there, that we made a mistake, and I knew we shouldn't have been out there. The ice broke off deep into the bay there. If we even waited 10-15 minutes, they would have had 23 casualties out there. Those guys came about as close as you could possibly come to death. And I really hope this podcast makes it to the ears of their loved ones and their friends and even them, knowing that they literally saved 23 people.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Eating Wild podcast. And it feels good to be back on the mic while we are not at the fishing show.
It seems like It's been a while, Lou. I got to be honest. This is and seeing Siege on the screen in front of us. That's kind of weird too.
What do you mean, boys? I'm still at the show, man. The deals, they're incredible.
You still there with Theo and Moose?
Oh yeah, man.
We're making espressos for the boys in the back,
man.
cutting some
I'm running
prosciutto.
out of cold cuts though.
All right, it's good to be back in studio with the boys, and we do have a very special guest today. I think it's a very important episode that we got coming up.
Yep.
With our buddy Dave Gray, who had a wild ice fishing experience that was all over the news, and we're gonna dive into it later. But for now, Siege, how you doing, man? How you been? It's been a while since the show.
I'm doing good, man. I couldn't miss this podcast. We weren't supposed to have one out this week, but when our main man was in a little bit of trouble, we had to do 911 and have this podcast ready to go, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when Lou, you actually kind of broke the news to me about Dave, who's like a friggin' brother.
Because you live under a rock sometimes.
No, I'll be honest, I was probably playing Call of Duty too much or working. I'm just being straight.
You were in Lake Nipissing, Tom.
I was.
That's true.
I was on Nipissing.
You were ice fishing.
Yeah, I was with TM, Taro, and my nephews. And at the end of the day, it was like, you know, we were in a zone. You don't got much reception sometimes where you are, and we were popping. The fishing was great. Well, we'll save that for another podcast. But you texted me and said, "Have you heard from Dave Gray lately?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "No." And then you were like,
then I sent you some links.
You sent me some links, but the thing that got me going was like he almost died.
Yeah, like
legitimately. And I looked at my phone and my heart dropped. I'm like, what? And then that's when you sent me the link, and I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then,
so it was all over the news. We saw a bunch of ice fishermen get stuck on the ice, and there was a lot of blowback on his social media. And for people who don't know Dave Gray, this guy's a nut job fisherman. Like, we know him really well through the Muskie Brawl and fishing with him even for salmon and trout and stuff like that. But this guy's an ice head.
This guy grew up.
He grew up on the ice.
This guy grew up. Ice fishing isn't like, I can't even tell you. Like, if you know Dave like we do now that we become friends, this guy is the ultimate outdoorsman. You could talk about ice fishing. You could talk about him taking me out in 7-foot swells on Lake Ontario. I've never been seasick in my life. True story. Only time was because Davey G said we're going to Pap, and I went to Pap. And you know, like this is hardcore fishing, right. And this is who this man is. This is what makes this the guy he is. So, you know, I can't wait to dive into it.
Yeah, I was thinking about his experience and seeing all the comments and the backlash of what happened. And let's face it, it was crazy what happened to them. But if you guys don't understand those guys, those kind of guys that go ice fishing like that, that's like rock climbers.
Right.
That's how I like kind of compare it to. It's like these people have this passion for ice fishing like rock climbers, like going up a mountain.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And it's also,
like there's a risk doing that type of thing.
There's a risk going hunting in Africa, Lou. There's a risk in any sport that involves
anything outdoors. There's a risk.
Outdoors, whether it's hunting, whether it's fishing. At the end of the day, it's a passion which drives us all.
Yeah.
And you know, somebody with the experience that Dave has, listen, I'd trust my life walking out with that guy anywhere, because I'll tell you right now, it's experience, right, Siege? I mean, you know.
Yeah, and look at us too on Lake Nipissing. Mother Nature does not care. You think everything's in your favor, and you can watch the weatherman, and all this stuff comes up. We've been in really dicey situations,
and we're weekend warriors.
Outdoors,
we're weekend warriors. Yeah. We're not like these guys that are hardcore that go out during the middle of the week and they find the right patterns, the right weather, and they go out and look for the big fish. I remember being on Simcoe with my dad. Remember the ice fishing tournaments for perch
like
on
700
Simcoe?
holes and 700 guys.
I remember one year we went for this ice tournament and there was a foot of slush on the lake. And back then I didn't have proper, like I had winter boots that I thought were okay.
Right.
And then I got there for an hour and then I started feeling my feet getting wet. And then 2 hours goes by and it's like, okay, my feet kind of hurt.
Yeah.
And then 3 hours goes by and I'm like, okay, something's not good here.
Yeah.
And then I had to go back to the truck because I'm 16 years old and I almost have,
listen,
like,
man,
my feet are gone.
We went to, I was in Nipissing this weekend and I wanted to bring my sled so badly, Lou.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the weather and I'm like, it says it's going to be raining and it might be a little bit warmer up there. You know what? I'm bringing it anyways. And then I called Harvey and he's like,
no point.
Don't bring your sled. He's like, I'm telling you right now, don't bring it. He's like, because we're going to get you out there. And he goes, the fishing's good. You're not going to need to move around much. It's that time of year and we're finding perch and this and that. So I get it, man. I was eager to get out there. I really wanted to ride. We rode our sleds once this year. It's dump. But at the same time, like, you know, Mother Nature, like Siege just said, man, I remember being on Nip with me, you, Coach. I got a picture of it and we're like, you got lightning bolts in the background and we're ripping back to shore. And, you know, it gets dicey out there quick. And some of these bigger lakes, some of these big bodies can turn on you, you know, without warning sometimes. You know, you see it and next thing you know, when it comes, you almost think, holy crap, you know, you wish you could plan for it better.
So let's get into it, man. I don't want to waste any time. I want Davey G on the mic because I got some questions for this guy.
Without further ado, Davey G, welcome to the show, buddy.
Boys, thanks for having me back on. It's good to be here.
I'm sure it is, right?
It's good to be here.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
We're doing okay now. I know I've been talking to you for a few days, and just mentally, you know, it was a roller coaster. A lot's going on in the head after an experience like that, but I think it's very important to have a conversation surrounding the whole incident.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for giving me a voice, having me back here.
Absolutely.
I think it's very important that we talk about it. There's a lot of ears on this situation.
Right.
Basically, the whole nation has, you know, at some point come across it on the news, you know, on your phone, Instagram, Facebook. You know, what happened out there was extremely serious. A lot of people don't realize how serious it was. And you can tell just by, you know, how everyone's kind of reacting in the comments and all of that. So when I talk about this situation, the last 3 or 4 days, I'm already, nothing else matters to me but the recognition from the heroes that came and saved us. So even just being on the air with you guys on the podcast here, it's very important to me. It's very important to just the few guys that I went out with that day too, that we do say our thanks, and we do, send an apology to these guys, putting them in danger and, coming out there and saving us. So the Owen Sound Emergency Communications Center, very professional. They took over 50 calls. When we were out there, everyone was calling them. Our loved ones were calling them. Everyone that witnessed it was calling them. So big shout out to those guys. The inter-township fire departments. I was on the phone with so many different guys from all over the place, small communities. I have a lot of friends out that way. I have personally, some of my best friends are on some of the fire tight teams out there. They were on the phone with me, giving me my phone number to the OPP. And those guys were awesome as well. The Owen Sound Fire Department was there instantly, within 5-10 minutes. I feel after the phone call, they were there. I can see the lights. We were a few kilometers offshore, getting blown out, but those guys were there. And Ontario Provincial Police, the OPP, real life superheroes. These guys, I'm telling you right now, it was wild to experience. I wish I had their names. I would love to just shake their hand and say thank you. The OPP, those are the guys that were in the choppers that came and got us. Extremely professional, positive crew, just wild. Just when we saw those guys coming, we actually had hope. We didn't really think that there was a time when we didn't think we were actually going to get saved out there.
Wow.
Graham Bruce EMS, they showed up. They were there, full force, professional team. When we got dropped off on the mainland, they came and made sure everyone was okay. A few of us did have hypothermia. So it's very important for me to give that message out. And if you're listening to this podcast and you know any of these guys, please forward this, whether it be the soundbite or even just the full podcast. Let them know that we appreciate them. Our loved ones appreciate them. And we're here because of them, period.
Yeah, well said, man. Really well said.
So before we talk about any more details, but that was very important for me to get off my chest. You guys give me a voice to do that. So thank you.
Yeah, no worries, man. I know, when I first found out and I knew you're okay, obviously, first thing that hit me hard was you're a father, you're a family guy. Those are the things that, hit home. And when it happens to one of your friends, you can have as many negative people out there as you want, but at the end of the day, you're a family guy. You're a girl dad. Siege can, Lou's got the 2 boys who he takes fishing all the time, and it hits us as well, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really does.
I'm blessed to have
walk us through the day, buddy.
I will. I do want to just say, back to the negative. All the negative comments, all those inboxes everyone's sending me, the death threats, we've had it all. It doesn't even faze me. I wake up every single day the last week just absolutely thankful that I'm with my babies. Yeah. There was a time that, we all did make phone calls out there, and we'll get into the details of the severity of the situation, but these people sending me these messages and inboxes and whatever else, it doesn't even faze me. Bring it on. I don't care. I'm not even opening them. Half these guys that are saying that, it's funny because they're display pictures of them in a boat. They go out in the water, they go out in the Great Lakes in a boat, they're out there ice fishing, and this can happen. Obviously, we put ourselves, and there's accountability that I will be talking about as well. Should we have been out there? No, we shouldn't have been out there. We take full accountability, full responsibility for that. Did we mean to be out there and put people in situations like that? No, we didn't mean to do that. We didn't mean to have the first responders out there risking their lives. At one point, there were 70 to 80 people out in the ice. We weren't expecting that to break. There is this huge, people talking about, why would you go out there in such warm winds and a big, strong southwest winds? That is false.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that as well. So it is very important that people do hear why we were out there. I'm not here to make light of any situation. Of course not. I'm still messed up over it. My main reason why I wanted to come here is to say thank you to those guys, those heroes. But I do want to tell our side of the story as well, which is very important for people to hear. Why were we out there in the first place? Well, it was just me and my friend Eric. We did plan the whole weekend. We fished the full Saturday out there. Ice is thick. Snow machines were out. A couple hundred people were probably out that day, full on the full bay.
So as you're sharing, Dave, I hate to interrupt you, but as you're sharing, I think it's really important for everyone listening to get a clear picture of, every step of the way, right?
Yes.
So you guys got on the ice, you guys made plans to go fishing, and the ice was thick. How thick was it?
Well, the main areas at any given time, like anywhere from 5 to 8 inches,
Right.
in any given area, no matter where you went in that bay.
Yeah.
We did fish the stacked ice most of the time, which was a little further out, and there was 12, 14 inches, but you're drilling through double layers out there. We'll get into where that ice came in handy later. I just want to kind of paint a picture of the day before we get into the main day.
Got it.
So the Saturday, was a normal day of fishing. It was warm, it was foggy, and leading up to the Saturday, and anyone can pull this weather up. It was minus temps and every single night leading up to that. So it was a good, strong, solid ice. We decided to stay the night. The fishing was good. The ice was good, in our opinion. And I mean, I've been doing this for over 30 years. We just had this conversation. I grew up on Lake Superior. I've been fishing Great Lakes in March for 30 years. And again, you never have enough experience on ice. No matter what anyone wants to tell you, you got to put your ego away. You got to take accountability for things you do. But at the same time, there are a lot of different things that you can prepare yourself for. You guys know this about me in all my videos. I'm always wearing a floater suit. I've always got hand picks with me. Going through the ice, and this is going to sound bad to people who do not understand ice fishing or maybe ice fish very little. Going through the ice is the least of my worries. When I go through the ice, I'm out just as fast as I fall in. This is something I've been doing since I was a kid.
Because you've fallen through the ice many times.
Many times.
And we're not trying to belittle or make light of that situation.
I know. A lot of people don't understand that.
But people don't understand that when you have this type of fishing experience of a lifetime, and you're from this area where you grew up on the lake, you're ice fishing, your dad's ice fishing, and you've learned to kind of live like this.
At 8 years old, my dad had us out in Lake Superior with the buddy system, ropes, floaters, everything. He always taught us what to do going through. So this is something I've always been experienced at doing. There are things that I got wrong, and a lot of guys out there, they have an ego to them. Even some guys that were out there and have already spoke. You got to take accountability. I'll get into what I would have done differently, obviously, later. But that night we looked at the weather, and throughout the night it was 0, feels like -2. Okay, and then you can pull that up and look at that's what it was. That is not making ice. But it's also not you're not losing ice in the temps like that. So we went back the next day. The ice has not changed at all where we went. We walked out. We tested the ice. We checked the thickness. It's the same. It's cold. It was cold.
And whereabouts was this again?
This is in Owen Sound.
Yeah.
On Lake Huron. So we went out at a place called Palmy Beach. We walked out there. It was the night that the time changed. We forgot the time change. So So we were out there an extra hour sitting there in the dark. I'm like, let's get out there and start walking. So we went out there, we checked the ice first. And again, it was the same thickness as the day before. And Eric and I kept walking to our spot. Throughout, we had both our headlamps on. We didn't cross any cracks at all. And we got to our spot. And like I showed you guys those videos all morning, it was a perfect morning. It was cool, regular, nice morning. Fish were moving, and absolutely not a lick of wind, and not a lick of wind, as you saw in my videos. I have my camera rolling that entire morning, GoPro and my phone. You guys know how I like to capture adventures. Sure. I like to go.
Yeah.
So there was not a lick of wind up until, I would say, 11 a.m. The last video I have on my phone, that was the one I showed you. You can hear a mouse cough from 50 yards away. You can hear me breathing. There's no wind. At 11 a.m., we felt the first brisk of wind hit our back. And I looked at Eric. I said, you feel that wind? That's the southwest wind we were talking. Our whole plan, by the way, going out there is we were leaving at noon, unless the wind came. The wind was supposed to start after that. So we were sitting there at 11:20. We felt the first little push of wind. We looked at each other. We didn't even say anything. We just nodded. I had nacho day planned with my girls back at the house. I had to get back anyways. Let's get out of here. Fishing was kind of slow. So we threw everything in the sled, and then the wind picked up. As we turned around and started pulling back. Our other buddies, Josh and other buddies, we all packed up and started walking back. Not even 5-10 minutes into the walk, we're looking ahead, and everyone starts scrambling. Keep in mind, we don't know what's going on. I mean, the wind was picking up, but we were already on our way back. Maybe should have left a little early for sure. But we're like, okay, something's going on. So we started booking it. We started walking faster, maybe a jog, and everyone kind of started hooking east. And everyone at this point was packing it in, like hurrying. We're like, what's going on here? And that's when it was game on. As we got closer, I got a call from one of the guys I knew, and he said, the ice broke off deep into the bay there. I'm like, that's not good. I knew instantly, right then and there, that we made a mistake, and I knew we shouldn't have been out there. You know, we should have left earlier, or we shouldn't have even just. What I would have done differently is I'll probably never fish a backwind again, especially on the Great Lake, because that ice, you know, it was plus temps at that time, and it did separate. So the lake was separating at this point, and at this point we were running east to see if we can make it before it separated. Knowing how fast things happen, I knew we were screwed. I dialed 911. I was the first call in. Well, I was on the phone with her. Someone else called in, but I was the first call into 911. And looking back at that, if we even waited 10, 15 minutes, they would have had 23 casualties out there, 100%. No questions asked. So, I mean, fast forward, we run back and forth. At this point, we're broken up 500 yards out. This ice is moving quickly, but the problem is the wind is picking up as well. And it was just a bad situation. You know, you're starting to think I'm just thinking, I'm an idiot. What am I doing out here? What am I doing? You could see the white caps forming between the gap at this point. And then all of a sudden I could see the ice breaking. Some guys decided to go west again and try and make it to the other side, toward the golf course, where later on is where they set up base camp for everything. And those guys, once the ice separated and the waves started, kind of sloshing up on it and breaking it almost every single wave, I started doing math in my head, and I'm thinking every wave that's crashing into the side there, you can see like 10, 15 feet breaking up into like slush, you know, and we were on a kilometer chunk wave, and we were out there for, I don't know, it seemed like a forever, but we were out there for like an hour and 45 minutes, I think, the whole entire, from 911 to being rescued. About an hour and 45 minutes. Hour and 45 minutes of hell. Like, that ice was getting so weak, and it was deteriorating so quickly because of it was moving, which, you know, it melts from the bottom up, right? Mm-hmm. Then the sun was out. Like that video I showed you at 10:30, there's no sun out. Like, everything happened so quickly. So this. What was the temperature? By the time you made that 911 call, what was the temperature outside? It was like 3-4 degrees, but then the sun came out, which was kind of just messed everything up, right? Right. So you have the sun, you know, it reflects off the water, and it melts it from the bottom up. So we knew we were in trouble, you know, and I'm thinking to myself that this was stupid. We all get to we were all kind of like wandering around. Everyone's calling 911, this and that. I knew we were screwed. But then it started coming to a point where we're watching the ice deteriorate and break. And I said to everybody, you know, a bunch of us were yelling at each other, get to that layered ice, get to that white stuff, because this dark stuff is going to start going. So we all started walking to that white stuff, and there was people going through, like, it was crazy. There were people going through? There were people going through. This is the ice that we tested before, but it was like, the ice went from like 5 to 8 inches to like 2. Wow. So you have to understand that, yes, half of us are experienced guys. We're intelligent. I mean, we're not idiots. Yes, we made a wrong move. Yeah. Everyone makes mistakes out there. Obviously, this is a big one. But we knew how to handle this situation. I stayed behind because there were some young, scared guys, or you can see fear in everyone's eyes. And there was this one guy, he went through, and his name was Austin. And I remember just the look on his face. I remember just turning around, and I said, "Give me your hand." He reached his hand out, and I pulled him out of the hole. And we all walked back. I went through 2 or 3 times. And just as fast as I went in, it didn't even faze me. Pop back out. We finally all made it to the white ice, the double stacked ice, layered ice, whatever you want to call it. And I knew we were safe there for a little bit. And this one guy had his wife out there, and the wind became so strong. We started to kind of, we all had this feeling inside, this is not good.
Yeah.
It was very emotional out there. Because we didn't see any help coming at the time. I was talking to OPP. They had the choppers, but they were having trouble coping with the wind, and just trying to get the machines, ripped around. There was no boat. The waves. I'm like thinking to myself, these waves are huge. I don't know what kind of boat they're going to even put in here, let alone get to us. We're watching the waves break the ice toward us, and I remember like fixing my eye on a spot, and I was thinking, we have about 35 minutes here. And that's when we saw the first OPP chopper go by. And we didn't really know what there was an orange chopper there, an OPP chopper. We didn't know what was going on. And I remember this lady, she pulls me aside, she goes, "Can you please explain to me what's going on here?" Because the guys that knew, we were like, this is not good. And I said, "Well, what's happening here?" I said, "I'm not going to sugarcoat it because this is a very serious situation." I said, "We just broke off, and now we're about 1 kilometer away from the break-off point. These waves are massive. Every single wave is breaking off anywhere from 4 to 6, 7 feet of ice. And we have about 30 minutes before we're all submerged." And that 30 minutes, I told her that about 30 minutes, the first chopper came out and landed. And the hope that we had was, I don't even want to talk about what happened before that because everyone kind of thought we were toast. There's people calling their family and loved ones. It was terrible. I didn't even want to put my mind there. I'm just fighting back, choking up here. But seeing everyone calling their kids and stuff like that was pretty intense. We let the ladies go first and all the young guys, and I was like the fifth last guy to be picked up. And I have in my video when we picked up. And we came up, we were about 20 yards away from that open water breaking toward us.
20 yards is nothing, man.
20 yards. Once they went back and grabbed the last guys and came back to mainland, I have a video where I stand on the golf course. I zoom in because we left all of our gear out there, obviously, and it was all floating.
Wow.
So that was 30 minutes. We would have all been submerged. And in the water like that, you only last about 4 minutes.
Right.
Max before your body gets numb and starts shutting down and hitting that hypothermia level, right?
Wow.
So even just talking with this right now is kind of bringing me back to a dark place, but I don't think I've ever been more thankful with our emergency services that saved us. Those guys are straight heroes.
Yeah.
And I really hope that if they have kids or loved ones, they listen to this podcast. They saved 23 people. So, I mean, that's what happened. We weren't just running around out there. It was a perfect morning. There wasn't a lick of wind. The temperatures were perfect. It doesn't really matter what people think. We've been doing this for a long time, and obviously a long time wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
So, as much as you guys know me, I like to post all my adventures and all my crazy stuff. I've always been a little bit crazy. It's just the way I am, the way I'm wired. I've been like that since I was a baby. I can ask my mom, But I'm not an influencer by any means. I'm also not a guide. I have hundreds of people in my inbox. This is another thing. Media is twisting everything. I'm not a guide. People are in my inbox saying, "Why would you take your customers?" I'm like, what are you talking about? What customers? Fish Guy Dave is my nickname from 20 years ago. I'm just out there enjoying myself and doing what I love to do. I've always been into ice fishing. I always thought I was prepared for everything. And I am, except for breaking off in a chunk of ice and floating away. That is the worst case scenario. Everything else I'm ready for. I even had a life jacket in my sled that day too. I just threw just in case. You could never be prepared enough for being out there. If you even in your boat, if you even look up stats, there's 5 times more rescues in a boating season than there is in an ice season. If you go in a boat out in the Great Lakes, you're putting yourself in a preventable situation, period. No matter what way you look at it. There's rescues every year. there's a million things you can do to be prepared for it. But sometimes Mother Nature, like what we experienced, it turns on you sometimes, right? It's spring, it's warm. Again, I fish every single March Great Lakes on warm ice. It's very resilient until it's not. You have to be ready for it. Being blown and broken off a chunk of ice is something that you can prevent. Next time, I think I'll never, I won't. I will never fish a backwind on the Great Lakes ever again toward like an open space. And, if there's young guys listening to this and they follow me on my pages and my Instagram and my platforms, don't do what you see other guys doing online unless you know exactly how to handle a situation. Obviously, this situation here, nobody could have handled. And, am I going to stop ice fishing forever? Probably not. Am I going to stop ice fishing on dangerous ice in the Great Lakes? Yeah, I might do that just for my family and for myself and, obviously for the first responders. So that's what happened. That's my side of the story. Myself and Eric and a couple of my other buddies that were there, Josh. We do, again, we cannot thank the first responders enough. Just absolute true heroes.
Well said, man.
If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even be here with you guys.
Listen, man, this was a great start to this conversation, and I think all of us appreciate your sincerity, your honesty. We're going to take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we're going to make this a little bit more lighthearted, not to make lighthearted of the situation, but let's talk about some interesting details. And again, this is not, look, we're not here for clicks and what do you call this? Clickbait, shit like that. No, that's not what this is about.
Not at all, man.
This is about learning, and there's so much here to unpack still. And I really appreciate you coming on, Dave. This is big. This is good.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, Eating Wild listeners, are you still searching for that perfect boat?
Extreme Marine London has got you covered with new and used boat sales, service, and professional installation of marine electronics and accessories. Visit their London or Kingsville, Ontario locations today and get ready to make waves and catch that fish of a lifetime.
Extreme Marine is your one-stop marine shop. Check them out at www.extrememarinelondon.com and follow their journey on Instagram and Facebook. Be sure to tell them that the Eating Wild Boys sent you.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Eating Wild Podcast. Smash, Top Dog, Showtime Johnson with you, sitting down with Davey G, who's again, if you listen to the first part before we went to break, who is a close friend of the show, close friend personally. The experience that you just went through, we all heard is, it's incredible. We're all taken back by this. But there are a lot of questions, Lou. There's a lot of questions that people were voicing opinions pretty strongly. Right. You picked some stuff up off of those comments,
right?
That stood out to you, and I'm sure we have a few questions for you, Dave. If that's all right.
No problem.
So one of the questions that I kept seeing come up was, did you guys get fined for being saved, or did you guys get fined for losing all your gear? Elaborate. Tell us what that experience has been like.
No, we gave our information when we hit the mainland. I see these comments a lot. Again, going back to all this hate that we're getting is it doesn't matter. People think, oh, these guys should be charged and this and that. We're out there ice fishing. We're doing what we love to do. We did not mean to go out there and put everyone in danger and almost lose our lives and never see our daughters again, our sons again.
It's almost like people are asking this just out of spite.
Of course they are. Right? Of course. They
like social justice. You got to charge these guys.
Yeah. They see their tax dollars going everywhere, being wasted everywhere. But they see an emergency service that is put into place for these things come out and do an absolutely heroic job for a bunch of Canadians out there ice fishing. We didn't mean to be out there. We didn't go out there and say, hey, let's break it off in a chunk of ice and float it. We didn't mean to do that. Yeah. Was it a mistake? Yes. Do we take accountability? Yes. It's just these things, these comments and all like that, they don't bother me. So, I mean, talking about them is fine. Are we going to get charged for it? I haven't got a bill in the mail. OPP chopper, I know you don't get charged for, being rescued by that. Maybe they'll charge us for EMS and ambulance. If I get a bill in the mail, I will be sending a thank you card. It's almost like people are like saying that out of spite. Like, they saved our lives.
Yeah.
They saved our lives. We are with our families again. We get to see another day again because of these people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are we going to get billed? I don't know.
Right.
So
I guess it's like any accident, right?
Yep.
You get into a car accident, an ambulance comes to save your life. Are you going to get billed? If you have a fire at your house and the fire department comes and saves you, are you going to get billed?
Yeah.
I mean, I personally don't know.
Well, we pay our taxes, Lou. Like, we're in Canada here. I mean, it's one of, like, this is a whole political conversation we can get into because people do have different views on it. You want my view? I'll tell you my view. I pay my taxes. If somebody's going to come out there and save my life, you're right, Dave. Send me a bill. I'll pay it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Like, I'll pay
think
it.
about this. Think about this too. If there was a price for the helicopter ride, like $5,000 per guy, to us, that's not a lot of money. We would pay it.
What are you talking about? It's not a lot of money. That's a lot of money, man.
$5,000
For your life, Lou?
That's
For your life, though?
So they may risk something and try to be MacGyver on the ice and try to do something to save that $5,000. You don't want to discourage people calling for people to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a
These
good
guys
point.
are trained for it. And I bet you, I'm speaking on by myself, whatever. I bet you guys, some of these guys look forward to saving people's life. This is almost training for these guys.
Yeah.
They sit around, and I'm not saying that what happened is good, but at least it's good experience for them too.
Yeah.
No casualties whatsoever. Everyone's safe. People learn their lesson. Dave, you mentioned on it earlier that you're not an influencer. And I think because you have a lot of following on Instagram, people say you're an influencer. You're not making money off Instagram, correct?
no, I'm not a guy either.
So I think that's why you see so much hate. Like, people say the influencer. You're not Jake Paul. You're not Logan Paul. You're an outdoors guy that you like to film it. And we live through guys like you. You're not making money off of it. You're not shy to show it. And the fact is, you're coming on this podcast very humble, and you made a mistake. And people that are chirping you, we get chirped all the time because we bass sometimes. Like, the internet has so much hate that I shouldn't be laughing about it, but I don't think there's anything. You could do the best thing in the world and there'll be hate on it. So I know you're getting beat up about it a bit, but buddy, don't let it get to you. I know this.
I'll take every negative comment. I'll take every death threat. I'll take thousands of whatever comments and whatever. I'll take all of that if it means getting this message across and saving one life is all that matters to me. If you're a young guy, think twice about going, on dangerous ice in the Great Lakes. It's no joke. I mean, it's very unfortunate with what happened, but again, I can't push this enough. We didn't mean to go out there and get broken off in this ice. People are making it sound like we were just crazy animals running around out there. The ice was thick. There was a machine out that same morning. I heard it riding around. I don't know if it was like a snow dog or something like that. Like the ice was thick, and it was holding fine first thing in the morning, not a lick of wind. I have to keep saying that because the number one comment I see is, why would these guys step out there in a strong south wind? We saw that strong south wind coming on the apps. I pay extra for that windy app. I saw it coming early afternoon. But the plan was to get out of there before that. We tried to do everything preventable, and we obviously didn't do enough.
So what's, I almost feel like saving this for the end, but what is the greatest thing you've learned from this experience? What can you take out of this in terms of, I want to go ice fishing again, but what have I learned from this experience so that you limit something like this from happening again?
Great question. Again, back to my 30 years of fishing in March in the Great Lakes. I might hang it up after that one. I might retire. I might not fish anymore, plus temps on the Great Lakes in March. I mean, if it's -10 out there, that's a completely different story. Ice is locked right up nice and strong in a face wind. You might see me out there again. But after that experience and how frightened everyone was. It was a very terrifying experience. I have 2 little baby daughters at home. You guys might see me hang up the old retirement. I'm not going to probably be out there ever again on a warm March day like that. And, after, a pride, there was a little bit of rain the day before too. There was just, I've been doing that forever. And I'm after that experience, I'm done.
Yeah, you mentioned there was 23 other guys. And one of the questions that I thought of was, first of all, out of these 23 guys, were they as experienced as you, for one? And two, during this whole traumatic experience, did you have guys that weren't panicking, that sort of were like, I prepared myself for this for whatever reason, if this were ever to happen? Maybe it was a little bit more traumatic than what they would think, but tell us a little bit about the people that were surrounding you, because there's 23 of you, man. That's pretty serious, that many people.
Yeah, I just I got a message last night from one of the young guys, and the same guy that I pulled out of the water, and when we got back to the mainland, like, everyone was shaken up, people were in tears, and he came over and gave me a hug. But he sent me a message last night, and he says, "Hey, I just want you to know my mom wanted me to message you and say, thank you for saving my life." It just made me feel like, man, it would have been such an unfortunate thing for all of us to go. 23 casualties out there. These things were crossing our minds, and seeing the terror and the fear on everyone's eyes was something I'll never forget. It's an experience I'll never forget. And I really hope all of those guys also learn their lesson, and they also share their experience as well, however they can, whether it be, at the dinner table with family, call a friend that's, thinking of going fishing on a warm weekend, and just say, hey, please, second think that. Because we came about as close as you can get there to leaving the earth.
So I don't know if you shared some videos with us, and I don't know if you've posted that and removed it, or if you're going to post it. That's up to you. But I feel like people don't realize how serious of a position you guys were actually in. There's that one video where I saw one of the guys in his personal sled. He's kneeling down in a sled, floating on a chunk of ice that's like the size of this table,
with 3-4 foot rollers,
with waves coming in, hitting his chunk of ice and hitting his sled. And in that moment, I'm watching this video, and that, to me, I can't imagine being in that position
with 80-kilometer winds blowing in your face. Like, can you imagine that? It's brutal.
That's real life right there. And like, what people don't understand from the outside, they think like you're just ice fishing, and oh, you should have ran back faster, or you should have done this, you should have done. No one, especially guys who fish the way you do, no one expects to be in that situation. And I don't care how cocky you are, how experienced you are, you don't think that could be the scenario that you're putting yourself in.
You hit the nail on the head there. When you're in that situation, and it's even hard to explain, but when you start looking at your life and you're like, this is how I'm going to go, and you start preparing your mind that you're going to freeze to death because we're about to be submerged. Everything's breaking and coming at us. You're about to be submerged, and that's how you're going to go. Is first your body's going to shut down from hypothermia, and you got kids at home, and you're about to leave your wife and kids by themselves. When we got rescued by those guys and we hit that solid land, Amy and Jake from Owen Sound Facebook page leaving me nasty ass disrespectful comments is absolutely dust in the wind. It means absolutely nothing to us. We are alive because of these people, and we are alive because of these systems we have in place, because of our tax money, because we pay these taxes. We do live in an incredible country when it comes down to that. We really do. It's wild. And I said to one of my friends, just yesterday, watching those guys come down and take us and save us, literally put a fire inside me. Like, I would love to do that.
I could see you doing that.
I would love.
I could see you
I would
being
love
that
to
guy.
do that. I would love to save people like that.
What was that feeling like in that moment when you're seeing this helicopter come down? And tell me exactly what happened. Like, it didn't land on the ice, did it?
It did land on the ice.
It landed?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It landed on the chunk of ice we were on, because there was like a chunk, it was the size of this room by the time we were done. It landed right on that chunk of ice. And obviously they had like, it was hard to walk to the helicopter because it probably took a little bit of weight off of there, right? But these guys came in, they took 3 at a time. And, you know, it was just...
Walk us through that, man. From the point that you saw this helicopter landing, what was...
There was more tears then than there was during, you know, the fact that we thought we were going, because of the relief that came through everybody, that there was hope.
You were counting you were saying 30 minutes. You guys were dead.
I'll show you the video. It was 10 minutes after I got to the main shore, went in, they just checked my vitals. And then I walked back out. I zoomed in on our chunk of ice we were on with all of our gear, and you can see the gear just like this, floating, and where we were standing.
Jesus.
So you couldn't bring anything with you, Dave, because that would bring up more weight for the helicopter.
No.
And your electronics, and you can replace all those things.
It hasn't even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
You know, people don't understand the severity of I get messages from buddies and stuff like that. And they're, you know, it's really disappointing, but at the same time, I do see where they're coming from as well. I have friends message me saying, "Hey, I hope you learned your lesson." Yeah, like, you think?
Right.
You think?
Yeah.
You think I learned my lesson? No, it just almost lost my life. Oh, did you lose your gear? That sucks. That hasn't even crossed my mind.
No.
You know, people are just oblivious to what happened.
What really happened.
That's why I ignore these comments. I ignore all the nasty stuff I get. And one guy commented, "You should have brought the Owen Sound Firearms Club out there and just finished them off and saved us some tax dollars." Like, people are just out to lunch. You know, and God forbid, and you know what, 90% of these comments I get are people who are in their boats every spring out there.
Right.
God forbid
Something happens,
your motor breaks down, the wind switches, and you get blown out and you need to get rescued. God forbid that you leave a pan on your stove of your house starts burning and you have to call these emergency services. God forbid your family gets in a head-on collision on the highway and you need to call all these. God forbid all these things.
Yeah.
These people chirping. Karma's a bitch, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Karma's a bitch.
Dave, let's face it. It's not like it was. A lot of people think it was 23 people, and you guys were all buddies. You guys were all going together.
Strangers.
It was all strangers. So, and a lot of these guys are experienced ice fishermen, right? And maybe there's some novice and all that stuff. So it's not like it was 1 or 2 guys that took a chance. There's 23 of you guys. We were all strangers.
We were the 23 that broke off. There was another 40, 50 guys in the inner bay, just on the other side of the crack as well.
Oh, really?
The roll of the dice.
Listen, man. See, there's guys every single year that go in through the ice on their sleds. Lou just talked about it with Bruce, who's this guy snowmobiles. If you want to talk about professional snowmobiling, Bruce is like in the winter. This guy's on his sled.
He's
20 hours a week.
Mm.
So he's been through the ice. He's been in where he's lost his snowmobile through the ice. So listen, it happens all the time.
Right.
You just don't hear about it because of the severity that David G went through. But the point is that everybody can be sitting at home right now watching the media, watching the news. Guy goes down in Lake Scugog on his snowmobile because there's only 3 inches of ice. I hear it every year. You know what I say? What an idiot. What an idiot. Doesn't he know that there's 3 inches of ice? That guy is probably thinking, you know what, buddy? There was 8 inches of ice because I tested it. And maybe there's a backstory that backs up why he was on the ice, Siege. So
I think ice fishermen, they get a bad rap. Let's face it.
Look,
if there is 23 guys in all separate boats, and like Dave said, their motor went or something like that, and they had a helicopter in, there would be nothing. Ice fishermen, for some reason, I think they think there was 23 people. You guys are all drinking on the shore. You guys all went together and said, screw it. The ice isn't that great, but we're going to catch some trout. I don't even know what were you fishing for?
We were fishing for trout. Yeah, trout.
Oh, okay, so fishing for
another
trout.
thing though, Siege, and this is towards you, Davey G. I've seen videos of you early season, and I say, Davey's nuts. Like, it looks like you're sitting on ice and you're fishing open water.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching Davey G in early, say, January or December, depending on how winter, I'm even one of those guys looking and being like, holy crap, that's but I know you. I know that
Yeah,
you
he's
grew
a
up
Navy
doing this, man. This is
Yeah.
nothing for you.
And I love early season because the ice is really clear,
Right.
and it looks dangerous. It's not. That's the furthest from dangerous. You know, it's
Right.
3 inches of solid black ice.
Black ice, yeah.
No wind out there. It's all locked in. You know, but we're walking around there. We got our spuds, our floaters, our
At the
picks.
end of the day, you're always going to be taking a risk.
Yeah.
Standing on a lake, a frozen lake, you're always going to be
Always.
taking a risk. We
Yeah.
do it every year. We go ice fishing.
Right, we go there for
every
3-inch perch. We're risking our lives sometimes.
Every time we go out for the first time just to check the
Yeah.
ice, we
Yeah.
go with our picks. We go with our axes.
Yeah.
We're checking.
Yep.
Look, we could hit a soft spot, not know about it, and go through, and we'll get pulled up.
Any sport, any sport,
Okay.
any hobby, there's a risk.
There's risk involved. There's risk involved. And look, we're not. At the end of the day, I don't know where the blame really is here in that situation, because as much as like I'm thinking about my kids too, and my wife is like, if that was you, I'd be so pissed and blah blah blah. I'm like, yes, and like, but you don't get it. You also don't understand, like, when we go fishing on a lake, it's kind of the same. Like,
Yeah.
we could be on a lake, and we're on Georgian Bay. We pass Beau Soleil. We get out to open water. All of a sudden, the wind changes, and if you don't know what you're doing, you could be in so much trouble.
Every mistake, there should be
I
a
get it.
lesson learned in every mistake that you
Yes,
make.
I get it.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm sure you've got some regrets there, because there were some things that you probably feel like
Yes, 100%.
you could have done better.
Well, what's going to happen to you, Lou? You're out in Georgian Bay. You're not getting, you're not getting every news anchor coming to you and saying how, you were saved by EMS, by the choppers and this and that. And then all of a sudden there's a social media platform for people to bash the shit out of you.
Yeah. That's
Do you know what I mean?
That's it. That's
so
it.
I think because of the severity of the situation and how many people were there and these heroes that came and saved these guys, it gave this open platform for people to say something. And 90% of the time it's going to be negative.
That's
gonna
why
be negative.
that's why these podcasts are just incredible, and I'm so thankful that I know you guys. I wanted to come on here today just to take accountability on my behalf, and the two guys I was with, or the couple guys that I knew that was fishing with me, and of course, and most importantly, say thank you to those heroes that rescued me. Those guys are just if it wasn't for them, literally we would be gone.
Hey boys, have you guys ever been to Gagnon Sports out in Oshawa?
Have I? That place is a gold mine. Picked up my new bow there last weekend. Hunting, fishing, archery, they've got everything.
Boys, don't forget the indoor shooting range. Gagnon's not just a store, it's an experience. They've been doing it right for over 50 years.
Seriously? I thought it was just another outdoor shop.
Just another shop. Buddy, it's family owned, Canadian proud, and huge. We've spent entire afternoons in there.
Or skip the trip and shop online. GagnonSports.com ships across Canada, fast, smooth, and packed with top-notch gear.
All right, I'm sold. Gagnon Sports trip next weekend?
Only if we hit the indoor range first, so I can show you guys how to shoot.
Gagnon Sports, 50 years of adventure and counting.
And don't forget to tell them the Eating Wild Boys sent you.
How many times have you think in your lifetime have you fallen through the ice?
Me? Oh, countless. I mean, going through the ice, when I'm in control of the situation, like what we were in, I was in no control. You're broken off on a chunk of ice, and you're in the mercy of Mother Nature, and those heroes. That's who we were counting on. But on a locked lake with a couple inches of ice, and I hit a soft spot, I go through. I crawl right back out of that, and I'm fishing within 5. Going
No
through the
panic
ice,
whatsoever.
No panic whatsoever at this
Well,
point.
now the three of us, we've never. Correct me if I'm wrong, boys. We've never fallen through the ice,
No.
We've had we've had a leg go through.
Yeah, I've had a leg.
Yeah.
That was me.
and that leg is the end
And
of the
that-
world.
yeah.
We're screaming.
Yeah.
We're going back to the cottage, changing our socks.
I have forgotten to put the plug in the boat once, and I had the boat going down. That was probably the scariest I've ever been in my life. That was on Orangeville.
How many fishermen have done that, man? Well, that's going to continue to happen.
You're going to get called an idiot on social media if that's documented, right, Lou? I mean, call me an idiot. I don't care. I've done it.
I think Lou is correct, though. Just the severity. There was 23 of us. It's in the middle of winter. There's not much going on, all of that. It just really highlighted this situation, and it highlighted a situation that was very, very serious. So, I mean, we got all the attention. I was expecting it. I'm expecting these negative comments. Listen, I've been failing my whole life. I've been failing my way through life, but you learn with every time you fail. I'm used to being criticized. I'm used to being judged. I've always had myself in a situation where I'm always being judged. It doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me is putting others at risk. And I did not mean to put those first responders at risk. If their families are listening, I apologize. I did not mean for them to come out there and rescue us. That wasn't the point of me going out fishing that day. I will definitely be better next time for sure.
Yeah, I also want to touch on Siege's point. He mentioned, these guys were probably, that's what they train for. It's what they do.
Firefighters.
I think guys that train to be police officers, they put their lives on the line every day. I mean, how easy for somebody to put a gun to their head, or firefighters when they're fighting fires every day. They train for this is what they want to do. They have a passion for it. So the fact that you got to experience these guys coming out doing their job, and doing it well, saving your life, we got to be thankful for that, because we don't really think of it. Like our good friend Hooks at Martin's, remember he had the fire at his house. Yeah. He said they were at his house literally in another 15 minutes, that thing would have fell to the ground.
Wow.
And from the dryer. So you got guys at the first responders who come out, and it's what they train to do, man. And
not only did they save 23 guys last weekend or whatever it is, how many guys now in the future they've saved because Dave is admitting he screwed up,
Right.
People are going to see what happened to them and not want to be in. It's a learning lesson. So how many lives down the road that they probably saved?
You hope people listen.
You hope.
I
think majority of people are
think twice. Think twice.
I texted Antonio for a reason. There's such a thankless job that they have. They never hear from us. They save us. They never hear from us again.
Yeah.
And I really hope this podcast makes it to the ears of their loved ones and their friends and even them, knowing that they literally saved 23 people. They're heroes.
Amazing, man. Amazing story.
Dave, tell me about some of the safety gear that you're always using when you go ice fishing.
Great question. I went through 4 or 5 times during this whole ordeal, and those guys were watching me, those young guys, and they did talk about it later. They're like, man, when you went through, obviously you guys know I work out 5 days a week, and that pays.
That helps.
That pays
pull-ups.
The second
Tone might not be able to pull himself up,
but no, that is true. That is true as well. That is true as well. I don't want people thinking, oh, I'm going to go through and get out as easy as Dave.
Yeah.
I train for this. I train to do this kind of stuff. The second I went through, literally just a little flex of the old arms, I pop right back out.
Do you got the picks?
I always have the picks in my hand. I have the floater suit going around my boots. Not one drop of water hit me.
Are the picks going through your sleeves?
No, that's the one thing I don't recommend doing.
Around your neck?
Round your neck loose. Yeah, because you can reach for them. When you go in your sleeves, sometimes you hit the wrong angle. Next thing you're in the water trying to find them. Trying to find them. I have them around my neck. When I go through, my arms automatically go. I'm 6'5". That I'm not going past my armpits. I also have a floater on, right? So I have all of these things in place.
What kind of suit are you wearing? Is it an ice fishing suit
Mustang
or is it a survival suit?
I actually have 2 suits. I have a Mustang and an FXR floater.
FXR,
nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
and
one piece.
A one piece,
the onesie. So you said you didn't get any water in your feet. How did that work?
I went right up. I went through 5 times up to my armpits. I never got one drop on me. I have it around my boots. It's waterproof. It's almost like a bodysuit. I'm ready to go through.
So that FXR suit goes over your boot. There's this kind of rubber strap that goes over your boot, right?
Yeah.
So
and how long would you say that would prevent you from
getting wet or?
Well, it'll seep through
or getting casualty.
When I go through, I'm probably in the water for 2 seconds. I literally just flinch and I'm flying right back out. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, floating around in the water, it's a different story. That'll seep in there. That water is so deadly. That's another thing. People sitting on their couch in the Facebook going sound groups like they don't realize how dangerous that water is. You fall in that, you're not lasting long at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So no matter what body of water you're fishing, what the conditions are, how much ice, you need to be prepared. You got your spikes, you got your floating suit, you got good boots.
Yeah.
You know, this is something like, man, we really like. I think Dan was the first one that brought me the picks. I have a flotation suit.
That was his Christmas gift to us so many years ago.
And we got our spikes, but you know, you can't be lazy, man. You can't. You got to suit up.
Whether I'm on 4 feet of ice or 4 inches of ice, I'm never on the ice without my picks or my floater suit.
And did anyone have any kind of snowmobile or ATV or anything out there?
No, not that
everyone
day.
was just walking.
Everyone's just walking
with sleds and all their gear.
Sleds, gear, yeah.
And you guys lost all your gear. Tell me about what you lost, man. Do you remember?
There's probably 8 or 9 live scopes sitting out there.
Right.
But I mean, no one cared. We just wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
Just get on land.
Just get on land. I mean, it's floating around out there. Hopefully it stayed afloat and one of the locals get a bonus early Christmas gift. We don't care.
Yeah.
Our early Christmas gift was making it to Christmas.
That's right, buddy.
Yeah.
Man, this is a lot to soak in, brother. I hope
this
people
is
listening.
definitely a different podcast from the Muskie Brawl.
Yeah, but it's an important conversation that needed to happen. Is. You know, there's going to be a lot of ears on this, a lot of public ears. Hopefully, all the guys that had anything to do with saving us listen to this podcast. And again, for the 7th time, we owe you our lives from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much for what you did.
Amazing,
I think you should do that as a career, Dave. I could see you as one.
I would love to. I would love to.
Didn't you see Davy G in the helicopter?
100%. He'd be like,
driving in.
I could just, David Hasselhoff back in the Baywatch days with the hair going when he's on the boat, but Davy G in the chopper. I like where you're going, Siege. We should produce it.
I can see it now, Tone.
Yeah, you can.
The only chopper we're riding is in Call of Duty.
Oh my God,
that's it. I know we're laughing now. We're having a.
It's good to laugh. I haven't laughed
for
a few days.
You know what, Davey G, I gotta tell you, man. From knowing you the past few years, being proud sponsors of the Muskie Brawl, on the brighter side, you're a family man. You've got to see your family when you got home.
Oh my God,
I need you to, if you can, tell everyone listening, what was the feeling you had when you locked eyes on your family?
There was tears. Yeah, it was an emotional time for sure. I'm still a little messed up. I almost canceled this hangout a few times, but I knew I would be good by Thursday, and I'm glad I did come on here while it's still fresh in my mind. And I owe you guys a lot as well for giving me a platform and making me heard in the story that happened that day. My family is so thankful. Obviously, I probably won't be. I'm gonna take a couple weeks off fishing.
Yeah,
and we'll regroup, and we are learning from this. There's lessons learned from this for sure. Like I told you before, you won't catch me out there on a warm spring day probably ever again. So, I mean, we learned our lesson. And hopefully everybody else that was out there that day did too.
That's really scary. That reminds me of when you watch movies and the plane's going down and family call their loved ones to say goodbye. And for you to be experiencing that, calling your loved ones, seeing other fellow anglers calling their loved ones and thinking that's it.
If people,
I can't even, oh man.
If people see that video, to put things into real perspective of seeing a grown man sitting in a small sled, floating on top of a chunk of ice, I'm guessing he was just hoping and praying that someone would come save him.
Those guys came about as close as you could possibly come to death.
Yeah.
Period.
That's wild. That's wild.
And then people chirp them. Like, I mean, I want people to see their families and how relieved they are that their loved ones came home. Then chirp them online. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Whatever. I mean, we're the same. We don't care about the chirping. We know.
Yeah.
Look, we know that you're a hardcore fisherman, and being hardcore in anything, you take risks. People are going to talk shit. Let them talk shit.
People need to know that, I'm not just out there trying to get clicks and likes. I will admit when I'm wrong. You know, it's very important to be like that as well.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be walking around with your chin up in the air all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the way the sport is. And if you don't understand something, it's very easy to overlook, you know, details and not understand it. I understand where people are coming from. I don't blame them at all for being online, you know, bashing us at all. Those comments are going to happen no matter what you do. You know what I mean? So that's it. You know, we just need to learn from it. That's it.
Yeah, I think that you know, you like even me just sitting here. You know, hopefully people listening can learn from this experience. Also prepare themselves.
Yes.
You know, if you're going to go out there and you are fishing late spring and, you know, the weather's, you know, and you want to get out there, you're hardcore, just prepare. Make sure you're with maybe people that know what they're doing. I mean, that guy that you saved, you know, God bless that he was next to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't think of those things too. Guys, surround yourself with people that know what they're doing. If you want to fish, you know, mid-season when there's 30 inches of ice and stuff like that, you know, go out there and become your own fisherman and learn yourself. But being surrounded by people that know what they're doing is a really important thing too.
1,000,000%. I mean, there were guys out there that they knew what they were doing as well. And there was, you know, there were some idiots out there too that you know, made us look bad too. I mean, we all have to understand that in a situation like that, some of us aren't ourselves, and everyone deals with trauma like differently afterwards. So I mean, people just need to relax, chill, and you know, take a few days off before, you know, doing stuff like this.
Yeah, Dave, look, man, this was great having you come by here and sharing the story and being open about it. And again, thanks to all the first responders, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have our buddy here with us today. So this one hits home. And glad we got some fishing trips coming up with you this coming year, bro.
Let's go. Thanks for making me laugh, boys. I mean, I needed that. So thanks for having me on. And again, thanks for giving me a voice. Hopefully this makes it to the right ears.
You got it, brother. Well, boys, Siege, thanks for joining us. I know this was a last-minute thing for you in London, Ontario, but I knew you weren't going to miss this for the world.
No, man.
Davey G's a close friend of ours, a brother. And at the end of the day, Lou, I'll let you close us off, but the fishing community has to come together because we're brothers and sisters, and we got to be there for each other. And stories like this hits hard at home. We're young fathers as well. And I'm just glad that we were able to be here for Davey G.
Absolutely, man. Look, we all love the outdoors. We're always going to do stuff outdoors. Look, I broke my collarbone on an ATV accident.
Absolutely.
That could have been way worse for me.
Yeah.
That could have been
just
way
like
worse.
Jelly Roll. You see that? I thought of you, bro. You and Jelly Roll got the same story.
Listen, we're going to go on adventures. We're going to continue doing that. That's just part of who we are and what we do. And hopefully we learn from our mistakes, make better decisions, and move on. And that's it.
Well said, brother. Well,
all right,
this
boys.
is Smash Maleka. We're checking out of here, Coach. Get that tune started. Siege, thanks for joining us. Davey G, love you, buddy. Top Dog Pereira, Smash Maleka. We're out of here. Catch you on the water. Ciao.
Fishan.
Get the net.
Launch the boat on the big old blue today. We've got the stars lined up, they're coming out ready to play. It won't be long, they'll be pulling up fish, and we'll be serving them their favorite dish all the